Alright, let's get right into it. For years, we've all been taught the same old rules for spotting a scam, right? Look for the bad grammar or the sketchy links, the offers that are just way too good to be true. But what happens when the person on the other end of the line sounds exactly like your boss? What do you do when the email from your CEO is, well, perfect? See, technology, especially AI, hasn't just changed the game, it has completely flipped the board over. The old rules of trust and deception, they're gone. Take a look at this number. $25.6 million. Now, this wasn't stolen in some giant, complicated hack that you see in the movies. Nope. This was stolen in a single afternoon. Why? Because an employee was on a video call with their chief financial officer, who told them to send the money, or so they thought. And this really gets to the core of the problem we're all facing now. That old saying, seeing is believing, used to be a piece of common sense. Today, it's a warning. The most sophisticated scams out there aren't just going after our bank accounts anymore. They are targeting our senses, what we see, what we hear, and they're weaponizing our own human instincts against us. So let's actually walk through how that heist happened. It all started when a finance worker at a big company called Arup gets an email from their CFO about a top-secret transaction. Totally normal so far. They join a video conference call and there they are. The faces, the voices of their colleagues, including the CFO. It all looked and sounded completely 100% real. So the employee did their job. They authorized the payments. It wasn't until way later that the horrifying truth came out. The entire call, every single person except the victim, was a sophisticated AI deepfake. This wasn't just a scam, it was a digital performance. And it signals a terrifying new reality for all of us. So, if we're going to have any chance of defending ourselves, we first have to really get our heads around this new reality. This isn't about just being smarter than a scammer anymore. It's about understanding the incredible new tools they're using, and more importantly, the psychology they are exploiting. Now check this out. According to the 2025 Verizon Data Breach Report, what they call the human element was a factor in about 60% of security breaches. What that really tells us is that attackers have figured something out. It is way easier to trick a person than it is to break through a complex digital firewall. We are the target. And that's the whole strategy in a nutshell, isn't it? It's not a system hack, it's a human hack. We're not talking about lines of code here, we're talking about how our brains are wired. Today's scammers are basically amateur psychologists. They don't need to find a bug in your company's software if they can find a bug in your decision-making process. So how do they do it? Well, they hijack our emotions. They use these really predictable psychological triggers to just bypass our rational brain. Think about it. You get a message that creates a sudden sense of urgency. That creates panic, and it forces you to react before you can think. An email that looks like it's from your CEO, that plays on your natural instinct to be helpful and obey authority. A warning about suspicious activity, that triggers fear, and fear just short-circuits critical thinking. Every one of these is designed to make you feel, not think. It's honestly wild when you compare the scams of the past to what we're seeing now. The old scams were clumsy, remember? The bad grammar, the generic "dear sir" or "madam" greetings. You could spot them a mile away. But now, with AI, scammers can create perfectly written, context-aware emails that sound exactly right. They can pull details from massive data breaches to make the message feel personal. And like we saw, they can create pixel-perfect fake websites and hyper-realistic audio and video. It's a whole different league. And this is the point that we all really need to internalize. Relying on those old red flags like looking for spelling mistakes, it's not just useless now, it's actually dangerous. It gives you a false sense of security. Generative AI has basically democratized deception. It allows even low-level criminals to launch flawless, incredibly convincing attacks at a massive scale. Okay, so now that we get the how, let's dig into the what. We're going to take a quick tour of some of the most damaging and frankly dangerous scams that are hitting people right now. And we're starting with one that is just psychologically devastating. First up is this brutal scam called pig butchering. Now, Interpol has started calling it romance baiting, and that's a pretty good description. Here's how it works. A scammer builds a deep, emotional, often romantic relationship with someone over weeks or even months. They become a daily confidant, a best friend, the person you tell everything to. Then, once that deep trust is built, that's the fattening the pig, they slowly introduce what seems like a can't-mess crypto investment. This isn't a fast trick. It's a slow, methodical manipulation. And the real tragedy here is that it leaves people not only financially wiped out, but with this profound sense of personal betrayal. The financial loss is one thing, but the emotional damage, that's often so much worse. So, while pig butchering is that long, slow burn that plays on our need for connection, this next category of scams uses a much faster trigger, our built-in instinct to trust authority, and they're using tech to move way beyond just sending a fake email. As our email filters have gotten better at catching junk, scammers have just pivoted to the phone. Voice phishing, or vishing as it's called, saw an absolutely explosive 442% surge in late 2024. That's not a typo. And with AI voice cloning tech becoming so easy to use, a scammer can call you sounding exactly like your bank manager, an IRS agent, or even a panicked family member. And look at how incredibly sophisticated this gets. There was this recent scam in Ireland that started with a simple text message about a government energy credit. When the victim replied, they immediately got a call from a fake bank agent. The agent says, "Oh no, that text was a scam, and now your card is compromised. But don't worry, they're here to help. They're sending a courier directly to the victim's house to collect the compromised card and phone for safekeeping." By blending digital and physical tactics, they create this overwhelming sense of legitimacy and panic. It's brilliant and terrifying. So we've seen scammers impersonate bank agents. Now let's head over to the Wild West of finance, cryptocurrency. The hype, the complexity, it creates this perfect storm, a breeding ground for some of the most high-tech cons you can imagine, where they're impersonating tech visionaries and celebrities. One of the biggest things we're seeing here is the use of deepfake videos on hijacked YouTube channels. So picture this. Scammers take over a popular channel with lots of subscribers. Then they livestream an old, real interview of someone famous, like Ripple's CEO Brad Garlinghouse or Elon Musk. But they overlay the video with scam graphics and then use AI to insert new audio of that person endorsing some fake crypto giveaway. If you're just scrolling by, it looks like a live, official event from a trusted channel. It's incredibly deceptive. Okay, I know, we've seen some really scary stuff, but here's the good news. The truly good news is that no matter how slick or high-tech the scam is, they almost all share the same underlying DNA. So let's pivot from the problem to the solution and talk about the universal warning signs that can help you spot any scam. These are the fundamentals, right? Ask yourself, is someone trying to create a sense of extreme panic, forcing me to act right now? Does this offer sound literally too good to be true? Are they asking me to pay with something weird like gift cards, crypto, or a wire transfer, things you can't get back? Is this online friend I've never actually met refusing to do a simple video call? Any one of these on its own should be a massive red flag that makes you stop dead in your track. So, knowing the red flags is step one. That's your early warning system. Now let's build a really simple, memorable action plan that you can use to protect yourself from pretty much any scam that comes your way. It really is as simple as this. Pause, verify, report. First and most importantly, just pause. Take a breath. Urgency is the scammer's greatest weapon, and just pausing for a second is your shield. Second, verify. But verify independently. Don't reply to the email. Don't call back the number they gave you. Go find an official phone number or website for that company yourself. And third, report it. Block the number, report the email. You're not just protecting yourself, you're helping protect everyone else too. And this right here, this is the single most powerful defense you have, especially against all those impersonation scams. It's called out-of-band verification. It just means if you get a weird email from your boss asking for a wire transfer, don't reply to the email. Pick up your phone and call them on the number you already have for them in your contacts. That one simple habit completely short-circuits the entire scam. I love this quote from Hari Ravichandran, the CEO of Aura, because it perfectly sums up the mindset shift we all have to make. This isn't about being paranoid or cynical. It's just about being cautious. In today's world, our default setting for any unsolicited request that involves money or personal data, it has to be skepticism, not trust. So I'll just leave you with this final thought. It's your boss's face on the screen. It's their voice on the phone. Everything looks and sounds right. So what do you trust? The answer can't be what you see or what you hear anymore. It has to be a process. It has to be that active verification. In this new era, that's our only real anchor to what's true. Stay safe out there.